All right. My name is Koen, and I will be doing this particular section of the course, learning technology. So using technology to teach. And one of the big misconceptions that people typically have when we start talking about how do we use technology to teach is the fact that people really think that technology actually makes learning either more fun, more interesting, or more effective. And I would like to say that technology, in fact, does not do that. As a matter of fact, if you're not a creative teacher before you get technology, technology is not going to help you. If you're not an energetic, a caring, exciting teacher before you start using technology, technology is not going to make you that way. So it's important to understand that technology is actually a tool that expands whatever it is that you're already doing. So if you're trying to do some students' assessments, technology becomes a tool that you can use to continue doing the good things that you're doing. Technology does not change how you, it doesn't change your effectiveness as a teacher, but it can give you additional tools and resources. One of the things that I like about technology, that it does two things for me as a teacher. One, it expands my arm's reach in terms of how and when I can reach my students. So not only am I locked into the school setting or just the time that I have students in my classroom, I can extend that by using email, by using some of my lessons that my students can go over and over again, either using PowerPoint or Prezi, or my favorite, Slide Rocket, and we'll talk about those in the course of the class. So it extends my ability. The other reason that I like technology is that the second thing that it does for me is it actually allows my students to take the concepts that I've been teaching in my class and create something of their own. And so it turns them from just being receptacles of knowledge to actually being producers of products based on that knowledge. And so any time that I engage students in using the use of technology, it is to create a product, to have some kind of end result that can be measured, we can have matrices or rubrics around, but to really come up with a project that allows students to demonstrate what it is that they've learned. And again, technology can only be useful, in my perspective, is only useful when we get to expand what it is that we're already doing and that we get students engaged in the learning process. And so there are a number of things that we'll talk about in the class that I think are extremely important in terms of how to use technology, what technology we should be using, and how do we kind of acclimate ourselves to technology. I want you to throw out any conversation that people have had with you about how technological our kids are, how good at using computers and all that kind of stuff they are. Because what has actually happened is our students have become very good consumers of electronics, of the internet. I believe that Facebook actually is a worse product, particularly from a teaching and learning standpoint, than MySpace. And I don't know if folks can remember MySpace or the things that MySpace did. MySpace actually made people who used it use HTML. They had to learn HTML. Even if they were copying and pasting, they had to learn HTML. They had to figure out how to make their page look the way they wanted by using HTML code, or getting snippets of code, copying, learning how to use iframes. All of these things were necessary to get your page in MySpace to look the way you wanted. Even though it was overkill for a lot of pages, it was overkill for a lot of people who were looking at people's pages, but the person that was creating the page could actually design it and create it in a way that showed that they had some competence in that arena, or that they had some style and flair. Now, When we go to Facebook, we have a whole different monster. Everything is very uniform in Facebook. Everything is very regimented in Facebook. And so it doesn't take, and then I think the purpose of Facebook is a little bit different than MySpace. MySpace was all about trying to show your uniqueness, show your popularity, show how cool you are. And I think that Facebook's purpose is really around the networking of people, the connections of people, and making sure that those are consistent so everyone understands them, that they're very clear. And it's less about the individual showing or demonstrating who they are or what they can do or what their ideas are. I don't know if you've noticed, but Facebook pages are pretty sterile. They're not very, I mean, everything is standard. It's standardized, right? And that works for that kind of atmosphere. Why am I bringing those two things up, MySpace and Facebook? I'm bringing those up because I believe that our students, the people that we have in our charge have become very good consumers of technology and not very good at creating technology. And so it becomes our responsibility as teachers not only to teach our curriculum, but also teach how to use certain technologies, but also how to use it to create and stimulate their own ideas, that they become individuals who can do things as opposed to constantly being consumers. Because it's easy to criticize an iMovie, but it's not so easy to make an iMovie. It's pretty easy to criticize a piece of work that someone's done, but it's a whole other thing to have to build it and make it yourself. And so as we talk about some of these basic themes in education and how we can use that as we stretch our arms out using technology, I want you to keep some of those themes in mind. And as we go forward, I'm going to show some other things that we'll be talking about in the session. So this is our introductory. Thank you so much for your time, and then we'll move on to the next video in just a second. All right.